Today I'm going to be showing you this lot of vintage computer equipment I just picked up today. It was only $60 for everything, and I don't know if any of it works, but we're going to be taking a look at it. I'm just going to go straight in. This is a generic Crt monitor from January 1995. I think it's 15 inches, but I do like the look of it. I think it's pretty nice. Really do like this satisfying power button. And the second monitor here is a compact 140, and it's about exactly the same size. It's also from 1995. First computer. It looks like a 386 Pentium, I don't know. We have a quad speed CD-ROM drive, a 3.5-inch floppy. This is not an actual floppy drive, it's literally just a blanking out plate. Extremely satisfying power button or switch. Kensington lock, reset button, just got stuck. Okay, here's the back of this machine. We have the power supply currently set to 115 volts, AC out, AC in, an AT keyboard port, believe. Okay, I actually think that is a serial port, not a parallel port. And that is another serial port. I believe that is our parallel port, VGA, modem, speakers, and game port. And interestingly enough, when I did buy this computer, this warranty sticker was sealed, so this computer has probably been closed and not opened until today for around 20 years, at least. The inside of this machine looks very interesting. So starting at the top, we have our power supply, our CD-ROM drive that's dated 1996, December. And we do have some memory back there, AT power plugs. This is our graphics card, video card, modem, and sound and game port. Looks like, actually on this card is also an IDE controller, so this is one of those combo cards. But if you look at that oscillator is looking pretty rusty, I have to say. I do not actually know what CPU is in this machine yet. It is a total mystery. I only know the CPU of one of these computers because it has a sticker on the front. And we have a hard drive of unknown capacity that appears to be IDE. It is a Seagate Drive. The second machine here, unfortunately, has some Sharpie mark on it, but that'll probably come off with a handful of rubbing alcohol. And just like the other one, there's no branding on this. But moving on, we have a Kensington lock. It looks like these are where the power LEDs are. Reset, turbo, power, 3.5-inch floppy, and a CD-ROM drive, which is not labeled, like no branding or speed or anything. Nothing really to see on either side or the top of the machine, just white. Along the back, we have our power supply fan, AC in, AC out, voltage selection. We have a DIN 15 AT style keyboard port, 2 serial ports, parallel, VGA, modem, and sound card. This is pretty much the identical selection of ports as the last machine right there had. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. So right off the bat, this one is very different looking from the last. You can see a green PCP and the layout is far different. So here's our power supply, our CD-ROM, which is completely unlabeled on the top. I don't know if it has a label on the bottom, but that would be pretty weird if there's absolutely zero labeling whatsoever on this entire drive. I've never seen a drive like that. 3.5-inch floppy, hard drive of unknown capacity or make. I have no idea. There's our video controller, modem, sound card and stuff. You can see there is another IDE port. Sorry about that. There it is. We have our CPU, which I don't know what this is again, but judging by how it says AMD 586, it's probably a K6 or something, I don't know. I'm really not too familiar with this sort of hardware, so yeah, I don't really know. Very clunky power switch right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the insides of this one. And finally, we have the sleek looking Gateway 2000 GPS 166 machine. But this is the only one with any branding and CPU sticker. So I'm judging we have a Pentium inside. Here's our model number badge, which is still nice and shiny. A compact disc drive, which is not labeled. A 3.5 inch floppy. Spot for another 5.25 inch drive, which is pretty nice. So you could have like a 5.25 inch floppy and CD-ROM, true CD-ROMs, or put another hard drive in there, like a Quantum Bigfoot. Power LEDs and power button. Not much to see on the top or the sides. However, the top is metal, the sides are plastic. That's why the sides are yellowed. The top isn't. Around the back, we have our power supply and voltage selection, along with a fan grill. The fan is actually inside of this machine because it also cools down the CPU. There's no CPU fan. PS2 ports, info label, 2 USBs, probably 1.0, not even 1.1. Serial port, parallel port, VGA, and these are all blank besides an Ethernet card. You can see the inside of this machine is radically different because at this point, computers mostly consolidated everything into the motherboard instead of having to have a bunch of PC cards. But 200 watt power supply, heatsink with no fan that I was just talking about. That looks like VRMs. Actually, that's just like a single, I think that's a transistor. I believe this is yeah, you can just barely see it down there. 4.3 gigabyte hard drive. Looks like a Seagate, and there is a spot for another one down there. 5.25 inch drive bay, CD-ROM drive, which has labels on the inside, manufactured August 2000. 1 stick of memory, and not much else to see in this computer. It's actually pretty bare. For the first test, I'm going to use the eSun monitor and the Gateway 2000. I'm testing this monitor first because if we actually take a look, it looks like it's missing a couple pins, but let's just go ahead and see if it works anyways. Also, interesting thing while I was hooking up this computer, I realized there's no audio output whatsoever. Bit of a bummer, but something easily fixable. All right, we're all connected. Crossing our fingers, hit the switch. Immediately, computer comes to life. CRT has a green light. Oh, nice. So unfortunately, it does kind of sound like our hard drive is stuck. And this monitor's already going wonky, but it does look like our thing is showing up. So let's just go ahead. Yeah, look at that. What in the world? Whoa. Screen's going all kind of wonky, but hey. And unfortunately, it doesn't look, doesn't sound like we're gonna boot. But either way, let's just go ahead and reboot the PC and check out the specs. Okay, so looks like we do have a Pentium, 32 megs of RAM. Wow. And actually, the screen is a bit blurry, but it doesn't look like it's bouncing. But check this out. You adjust the vertical size and it goes absolutely wonky. What? Jeez, that is crazy looking. I've never seen a monitor do that before, but it does look like we are working, so let's go on to the next one. Okay, now we've got the no branded AT computer, and I had to bust out the serial mouse for this one. And we also have the compact display, so fingers crossed. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Oh. I think that's normal. Let's give the computer power. Okay. Heard the monitor come on, and that is way too bright. Let's turn that down. Come on. Much better. I don't want to screw up the display, but wow, that looks good. And it actually looks like we're booting Windows 3.1. Holy crap. 3.11, my bad. That was fast. It just woke from the depths of storage, just like that. Let's go ahead and adjust this monitor. Wow, I have never used Windows 3.1 on a physical machine. I am 17 years old, so I will explain it. Then check this out. Wow, this is freaking awesome. Okay, no mouse was working. Kind of expected that. And the keyboard does not seem to be working either. While I'm being a noob at Windows 3.1 and trying to figure out why the freaking keyboard isn't working or any input besides numlock, I opened the disk drive and pleasant surprise. OEM copy of Windows 95 with USB support. It's not even scratched, and it has an OEM key on it. That is awesome. I don't own a single retro Windows disk like this, and no wonder it didn't boot because there's no floppy. But this does look like it's working. I'm gonna go ahead and restart it so I can check out the specs. All right, go ahead and check out this BIOS. Is this not the most advanced BIOS of 1994? Like, wow. This is awesome. Anyway, this is so cool. Anyways, when it's booting, just right up there, it just says AMD 586, which is basically what it said on the back. And it looked like it. I think I saw for a split second, we have 8 megs of RAM. So I am actually just way too excited about this. Yeah, that's actually really cool. And last but not least, we have the tower. So fingers crossed, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's power on the monitor. And PC. Power LED. And video. So it's a Pentium S, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping for a 286, 386, 486. Not a Pentium, but I am honestly just glad that it works. But it does not look like we want to boot up. Okay. Forgot there's a literal reset button. Okay. It's not seeing the hard drive, and that would be because it is set to none. Let's go ahead and set that to auto. Actually, I'm just gonna do all of them auto because I don't know which. It's probably primary master, but let's go ahead and see. Okay. Let's see if it wants to boot now. This screen is super reflective, and it's also very curved. And disk boot failure still, so I don't think this is going to boot up, considering it still doesn't see the hard drive, but I'm gonna consider this a success. Okay, so the reason why this system was not booting up was because it had a dead CMOS battery, therefore it was not retaining the settings in the CMOS for the hard drive. At first I was thinking it was just gonna be a pretty straightforward repair, you know, just get your typical coin cell batteries, throw them in there, and boom, there you go. However, it was much more involved than that, and the system is working just fine now. It'll boot up into Windows 95. Alright, so as you can see, the system has booted, and the date and time is actually correct, which is very nice. To me, that just makes the system feel way more complete, but it also helps because now the system will actually boot up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off this cover here and show you exactly what I had to do to make this system work. Alright. Okay, so if we take a look down here, you can see now there's just a normal coin cell battery. But if you take a closer look, you see some hot glue. You can see a little bit of wires going on there. Here's a better shot. Basically what I'm saying is that this is a DIY job. You can see the manufacturers of this motherboard actually thought about putting a coin cell battery clip to the right of this weird IC. What this IC is actually a real-time clock chip, which thankfully is socketed in my case, but they're not always socketed. On some motherboards, they're soldered to the board, which makes it a little bit more annoying to work on. But what I had to do was essentially tap into the sides of this chip using a drill, since I don't have a Dremel. and solder directly to the pins of the internal battery that's inside of this chip. I then just used some hot glue and ordered a 50 pack of 2032 coin cell batteries off Amazon for $10. These were, I think, $5, and it was a 10 pack of 3-volt lithium battery cells. The exact same ones that I have hot glued onto the IC chip. And yeah, these work great. I've had absolutely no problems, and it basically revived the system. Without that, the system would not boot whatsoever. I would also like to point out that there are plenty of videos on YouTube explaining exactly in detail how to do this modification to that chip to revive your retro system. And that is all I have for you today.